This is Donnie Jackson, editor of IWC's Urgent Communications, and today we're at the last day of IWC 2024 here in Orlando, and I'm getting to speak with Brian Mecum of Verizon. Brian, thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Thanks for having us, Donnie. We just had a great session a few minutes ago, and I'm
sure
excited.
Did.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here
fantastic.
talking with you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
That is great. And I was so excited. You did a great session here on network slicing, which I'm very biased here, but 5G is great, and I'm glad it is faster and everything else. But frankly, I could do most of the things I needed and at 4G. But the part that really excited me about 5G is network slicing. Can you tell us a little bit about what network slicing is and why it would matter to our critical communications audience?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've been excited for the evolution of technology at Verizon. Me personally, I've seen all of the Gs. I've been there from 1G to 2 all the way up to where we're at now. And I have to tell you, network slicing gives us the ability to do personalized network dimensioning for use cases we just didn't have before. And so, like we talked about earlier today, there's use cases, for example, with the critical communications for video, that we can serve their needs, their time to first video, their latency requirements, anything specific to jitter. We can assure those communications and that data gets through the network when they need it.
Okay. Well, I love your term network dimensioning, and because I think it fits it perfectly. But what are some of the different dimensions? I mean, I'm guessing, hey, I may have a monitor out there where I just need, is the door open or closed? Mm-hmm. Is someone coming through or not? And that doesn't require a lot of bandwidth. And frankly, I don't want to pay $40 a month for that. And then there are other things where, gosh, I need low latency. I need great throughput. What are some of the things that
different use cases?
Changes, yeah.
Yeah. So today we just have an open network and people connect and they do what they want to. But to your point about specific use cases, there are applications, there are things that are not video related. There are opportunities for us to be able to serve traffic that needs to know something immediately, but is very low bandwidth. So for example, a sensor like you referenced, or something having to do with the movement of an object. A lot of people like to track things, especially with first responders. And so we haven't been able to personalize and build out a connection with a specific use case before, and now we can. And so for us to be able to listen to what first responders need, or critical communication people, or the government, or the gaming community, there's a lot of different opportunities for people to say, here's what I need, help me design that, Verizon. And we're going to be able to do that with network slicing in a way that we've never been able to do before. And it's going to keep the network traffic whole. These are very quick use cases where we're able to serve a specific person, a specific application.
And can we have more than one kind of slice? I guess I'm thinking of a situation of, like we said, a monitor or a door or something. If, hey, I just want to know if it's open or closed or something.
Or if you're trying to track something.
And once it opens, that's when I want the video to turn on, or maybe even have one of those staggered things where I find out 15 seconds before. But
oh, for sure.
And then I may say, hey, I want video, but I don't want to be running video of a closed door forever.
Oh, for sure. So I think your thought around the door is a good one. Let's use another one. Let's use a fire truck.
Better.
Or particularly firefighters. And if they cross over into a certain threshold of danger, or a truck reaches a certain point that needs to be refilled, or they've reached a point where they can now dispatch a large number of firefighters to go do something, you don't want that delayed, and you want to be able to make your decisions based on resources with real-time information. And so there are, to your point, it might not be video related, but maybe it is, maybe it triggers video, but you need that to happen in real time. And we can do that with network slicing in a way that we couldn't do before, and we can assure that it gets through the network very quickly.
Okay. Now, you're able to, with network slicing, and by the way, I guess we should say, what are some of the prerequisites to network slicing? Need any changes in the core or anything like that?
Sure, that's a great question. So we're building a standalone core It's a core that's designed specific for network slicing. It meets the industry standards and requirements. And that is a core that we have available for testing now, and we'll be launching that soon. And when we have that standalone core, it gives us that flexibility to personalize experiences and to sell network slices. We can sell quite a few network slices, and we can meet business needs in ways we never have before.
So I know you said you've been testing, and honestly, I got really excited when I saw some of the tests you all were doing with Axon.
Yeah, so that's a great test. We were able to demonstrate that with a cruiser or with a camera that you wear, we're able to get time to first video and the consistency and continuity of that video to be near flawless. It's very good quality video. And you don't have glitches or stalls, you don't have frame rate drop-offs. It's very high quality video. There's other use cases where we did a video example at an F1 race, and we had an influencer with a camera, and they walked around, and an influencer typically gets a lot of their likes and their responses from real-time comments, real-time interactions. We did that so much so it was so successful that then one of the race teams, I won't mention which one, but a race team wanted to be able to use it for their PR department because it was just an outstanding capability that they didn't have on the regular network. They wanted to get their PR information out there very quickly and assured.
Right. Well, so with all this great customization that slicing can bring, historically it was, well, if you really want a whole bunch of customization, build it yourself. So does this impact the future of private networks in your mind?
Well, that's a great question, and it's complementary to private networks. We did get some questions earlier today from some of the folks that are first responders, and they want to be able to have networks that are secure and private for them, and they want to be able to also have a network slice on it, and we can do that. That's the cool part. We can build the SA core, these standalone cores, and bring them down to very small use cases. You can put it on a boat. We even have one that we've demonstrated we can put on a backpack for the military. And the power and use case of that is when there are certain critical communications or just certain packets that you want to get through and prioritize first, that network slice allows you to do that. It's a fantastic technology.
Like I said, I was excited before, and then I got to hear you and got more so.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm glad to hear that.
But and so I guess, is there any timetable as to when this is going to be available?
Yeah, so we're in the middle of trialing it right now.
Right.
You heard that we did one at a World Series.
Yes.
We have to pressure test these.
Boy,
and
you sure do.
Yeah, we do. And we did it at an F1 race, and then we've done other use cases that we're testing. We haven't gone public yet with when we're going to announce the standalone networks launch, but it's coming soon.
By the way, for your tests, I mean, how do you, since you need a 5G core, you just bring your own 5G core?
No, we have our own 5G core right now. It's just a test, is what it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So we have our we call it the NSA network, the non-standalone network. We have that, and then we have a standalone network, and that core it's at Verizon. It's just not commercially launched yet.
Okay.
But coming soon.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the process, when an emergency happens, public safety wants what it wants, what it needs, and they want it 5 minutes ago.
Sure. Everybody's impatient these days, right?
Yeah, well, especially when there's an emergency going on.
For sure.
And so, what have you all thought about? What that process looks like, and I know you can never know exactly what every scenario is, but are you pre-planning? Like 5 or 6 different use cases that you can use as a core and then make adjustments off of that?
Yeah, for sure. So what you're getting into is what type of plan somebody uses or what type of plan they have for their devices. Mm-hmm. And that is something that you do have to prearrange. That's something that you have to have an agreement with, just like you would for any type of connectivity state. Mm-hmm. And so we haven't completely locked down whether or not if it's going to be something that they can just pick up the phone and provision immediately, or if it's something we want to know in advance. So we're still working through that, but I will tell you, we have the capability to do what you're talking about, and it's just a matter of the business model is what it comes down to.
Wow. Well, yeah. I'll tell you what, that's really a game changer, and I would think it'd be good for you guys too, from the standpoint of, again, if I'm throwing an IoT device, you all don't want to be throwing all the resources at it. And I would think you all are going to be able to be more efficient if it's just an IoT device, to use only a limited amount of resources, so you can dedicate the other ones to something that does need more robustness.
Yeah, so what you just touched on is something in the industry we call REDCap, and that stands for reduced capacity. And so we have the ability to not power up and use the full amount of the spectrum, so that we're healthy on battery, we're healthy on connectivity state, and we're able to do something very quick, light work on the network, light work on the device and the battery. And I can't emphasize enough the importance of how much we can personalize your experience and how much we can personalize what we call network dimensioning or radio dimensioning. We can make this experience very specific on the SA core to your business need. And that's exciting.
Incredibly. Yeah, and I can't even imagine all the different enterprise stuff, which isn't necessarily what we cover, but I mean, I'm just going through my mind thinking, oh my gosh, every company and enterprise in the world is going to
well, they're going to have a need. They're going to have an idea, and they're going to have a use case, and they're going to come to us, and we're going to be able to sit down and build it with them.
Exciting stuff, Brian. I apologize for taking up so much of your time.
Oh no,
I really appreciate it.
It's been a good conversation.
Hey,
Thank you, sir.
good to talk
Appreciate it, Donnie.
with you. I hope you have a great rest of the show.
You too.